I wanted to get into a little bit of the science side of how this works and one of the most amazing benefits from the Fizzy tablets. There's a lot of benefits that I've been sharing. It helps you lose weight, it neutralizes free radicals, it is an anti-aging, it does lots of good things, but I want to really get into kind of the chemical formation of what's happening in your body. So some of you science nerds out there, you'll really enjoy this. For the rest of us, we will just understand it in a little bit deeper level. If you're joining me right now, do me a favor, give me a hashtag number 1. Let me know where you're listening from. If you listen to this later as the recording, hashtag number 2. We are going to be talking about how does the molecular hydrogen, which is your Fizzy tablets, how does that neutralize free radicals? And I specifically want to point out one of, if not the most dangerous free radical, which is called the hydroxyl radical. The hydroxyl radical can damage your DNA. And by damaging your DNA, what it does is it replicates damage. And for those of you who may know a little bit about biology and about science, think with me, what happens when DNA is damaged and replicates? All right, one of the byproducts of that eventually is cancer. All right, cancer is basically a replicating cell that goes rogue, and it doesn't have a natural death cycle. That's what makes cancer so horrible. The rest of our cells, they replicate, and then they have a certain time where they die. Well, that's not the case with cancer. So one of the ways that you can avoid or minimize the risk of cancer is by making sure you have enough antioxidants in your body, specifically dealing with the hydroxyl radical. All right, so let's look at the chemical formation here, and I made it really, really easy so I can understand it. This is the chemical formulation for hydroxyl radical, and it is HO with a negative. That just means it has a negative charge. Okay, H we know stands for hydrogen, or hopefully you know. O, we all know O, right?
Yes.
Oxygen. Very
That's
good.
what everybody's saying.
Everybody's saying oxygen. All right, good. And then we have, so that's the hydroxyl radical. This is your Fizzy tablet. Now, if you read your label on your Fizzy tablet, it's not going to say hydrogen anywhere. Okay, that's because you really can't contain hydrogen. So what happens when the water reacts with your Fizzy tablet, that is what makes the hydrogen. So those little nano bubbles, that's where the hydrogen comes in from. And by the way, the Fizzy tablet formulation is the most concentrated. When you look at the parts per million in the water, it's the most concentrated form of molecular hydrogen that is available on the market right now. So it's really cool. Our formula is actually used in a bunch of different scientific research that's going on in the molecular hydrogen field right now, which is really cool. So some of the cool breakthroughs that they've seen with helping with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease and weight loss and sports nutrition and recovery, all of those things have been using our formulation, which is really exciting. So this is one of the cool things. We've got hydrogen, which is H2. That's 2 of those H's, 2 hydrogens. And so when we take the hydrogen, which the hydrogen or the Fizzy tablets, they last for about 3 hours. That's what's called their half-life. In other words, that's how long the benefit lasts. It's about 3 hours. So ideally, if you could, and if you had the time, if you took a Fizzy tablet drink every 3 hours, then you would be extremely well protected throughout the entire day. But even if you can just do 1 or 2 or 3, even just a little bit is better than not doing any at all. So when you take the hydrogen, and there's a hydroxyl radical, which they're very, very common, okay? But oftentimes our bodies can have the antioxidant properties to overcome them, okay? But they are very, very common. So we have a hydroxyl radical, and we combine that with our molecular hydrogen, okay? Now if you look here, we have 2 hydroxyl radicals, and we have hydrogen. Now if you guys look at these numbers, where do you see these numbers come in again? There's a very, very important molecule that pretty much everybody knows the formula of. All right, I'm going to just wait a second. Let's see if we get anybody who knows. Who knows the formula of what these things make up? I'll give you a hint. It's kind of like water.
Kind of like water?
Kind of like water. Okay, it is water, but the formula for water is H2O, right? We all know H2O, okay? So look at this. We have H's and we have O's. And if you count it up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 H's and we have 2 O's. So when you take the hydrogen, one hydrogen molecule can actually take 2 of the most damaging free radicals to our body, and we turn them into, there's H2O, and then we have another H2O. H2O. So we have taken something that can cause cancer, heart disease, all sorts of issues, several autoimmune conditions, damages the replicating DNA, really serious stuff here. We can take 2 of those molecules with 1 molecule of hydrogen and convert that into 2 molecules of water. So we have taken something that's super damaging, we haven't neutralized it, we've actually converted it into something beneficial. So there's actually been some new research in China showing that it helps, that the hydrogen helps with people recovering faster from the COVID virus. Which totally makes sense because it's having these reactions, so it's helping the body overcome some of the free radical damage, which happens a lot of times too when we get sick. My name is Davis Jaspers. I appreciate you joining me today. The founder of the Vitalife program, reminding you that today is the perfect day to live a vital life.